Well, what's up?
What's
Hey,
up?
we did
We
it.
finally figured it out. We've only been here for an
Uh,
hour.
yeah. Welcome to the Nocturnal Gaming podcast.
Definitely.
I'm Jake. Embrace. Colt.
Yep. I'm Colt. Big shot. Tyler.
Kenny.
And
Kenny.
I'm
Kenny.
yep, I'm
Yeah.
Kenny. I'm Kibbs.
And I'm Tyler, Lockdown.
I
It's the
mean, where do we
squad.
start? Should we just get right into what we're about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
let's
Go
get
mean,
for it.
somewhere.
All right. So basically, last week Colt was like, "Yo, let's do a podcast." So here we are. It took a little bit, to start, but basically what we are, or what we're trying to do, we're trying to start an esports organization. Um, Obviously, entertainment is a thing. We're all streamers, mostly all YouTubers. It's like, Colt's kind of in and out, but I'm just gonna start with my stuff, and then you guys can go along with basically what you guys are trying to do for your streams and channels. Is that fine? You
definitely.
think?
Yeah, we'll just kind of follow suit as it goes.
All right. Okay. Um, so for my channels, it's basically all FPS shooters. A lot of Call of Duty, a lot of Halo. Um, YouTube, I got vlogs. I got a lot of, like I said, Call of Duty. A lot of verses between us. We've been doing a lot of FIFA as of recent, which I don't do very many other things other than sports and shooters, but that's mainly what I do. I'll just send it to Colt next.
hmm Uh, I mean, I just stream. Lately, I've been grinding Counter Strike pretty heavily. I stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and Saturdays and Sundays are the off days. Um, but yeah, a lot of Counter Strike. Destiny 2's dropping soon, which I'm sure we'll end up talking about. We're going to be playing a lot of that. Yeah. The new beta for Call of Duty just dropped. It was pretty sweet. We'll probably talk about that. Probably be playing that a lot soon. Yeah. I don't do the YouTube. The YouTube's not the thing, but
All right, Kenny, you can go next.
All right, so I do a lot of the sports and racing games too. Just got into iRacing. I've been in that for a few months. I wouldn't be opposed to doing first-person shooters. I'll jump into that once in a while, but most of the time it's either a sports game or a racing game. I got a wheel and pedals and all that stuff. So, and I do YouTube and streaming on Twitch, and a vlog here and there. But usually that's Embrace's thing. But yeah, that's about what I'm about. So,
All right, Tyler,
My
save the best for
turn.
last, baby.
All right, all right. So last but not least, no. So basically, I don't really do YouTube either. Just like Big Shot. I was like basically just streaming, which recently has been kind of limited because my schedule is pretty busy with work and multiple jobs and whatnot. But I'm gonna try to get back into that. I stream anything really. League, the Call of Duty beta. I was recording a little bit for that, trying to get some clips. So maybe someday in the future I can make
Might
a
be back.
montage. Huh?
Might make a return
Yeah,
to the
maybe
YouTube
the
scene.
return. I would like to do YouTube, but just at first, I think streaming is a lot more easy to just kind of start out in. But yeah, like I said, League, COD. I want to play the Destiny game when that comes out. Grind that. Hopefully as a squad. That'd be pretty sweet. Um, like iRacing. As soon as I get some monies built up, try to be getting into that. Hopefully I can compete a little bit and improve at that quickly. And yeah, that's about it for me.
for sure.
we're
All right,
all PC and Xbox for the
yeah.
most part.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, get a PC. I got it. Yeah, you were actually just mentioning Destiny. Are you guys all getting that? I mean,
I am
Colt
getting
just
that,
got it for
yes.
us.
Yep.
I feel like that's something we'll be really playing a lot in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in
What are
it.
you guys looking forward to as far as that game?
Well, I mean, I rented it the first game and played the most of the campaign with Tyler, and I really enjoyed playing that. I mean, I really didn't get into the multiplayer as much. I know it's fun, but um, like PvP and yeah, Destiny has PvP. I like the campaign personally. It was fun because you could play a lot of there are a lot of multiplayer elements in it, so
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm
absolutely.
looking forward to.
I think something like grinding for gear is something all four of us could really get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
know.
never played the first one, but I just heard like a lot of the quests and stuff is like a pretty like fun, I guess. Just like you said, grinding for gear.
Hmm.
The multiplayer to me was like, like I don't know. I played the beta, but it was just like another like I guess in between Halo and COD, but not. I just feel like the campaigns and all the missions and stuff is gonna be a lot more impressive to me almost.
Yeah, they definitely talked about they did a lot of work on the PvP to make it more fun, more playable, and I guess they did a lot of work on the like storyline to make it more of a storyline, less of you just doing missions all the time. So you played the Destiny 2 beta?
Yeah, because I was trying to get you to fucking buy it. They were like, "Yo, let's." They released it all to the public, and so I played a little bit of it. I almost uploaded a video, but it was shit. It was just me. It was me doing bad, and or the other one where Tyler. It was me, Tyler, and Owen, and we did the one mission where you could only do 3 people. I don't remember what it was called.
Oh yeah, I can't remember because that's new, I believe, to Destiny 2. I didn't play Destiny 1 enough and didn't know enough about it, but I think that mode is new. I don't remember exactly what it was called off the top of my head, but um, yeah, it was really sweet.
Yeah, I just remember us dying to the boss after getting to the final floor, and then we had to restart. And so I was like, "Fuck that video! That would have been like an hour long."
Oh, you're talking about like the strike playlist? You were doing like the
Yeah,
strike?
Strike.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Right.
Yep. Yep. I think Destiny would be really cool, especially if we can find time for like all four of us to grind together.
I
And
know
then
it's.
even
Oh, go ahead, sir.
no, you're good. Even the multiplayer, like on one was okay, but it was a lot more difficult, I felt like. And I didn't know enough about the game for it to be interesting, but it's like now like looking at it and seeing as much as Owens played and like learning more about the game as a whole and its story kinda and learning about how everything works, I think number two is gonna be a lot more interesting, a lot more fun, especially as a group. I mean, because Kenny and I had fun when it was just the two of us, so having all four of us together, I think would be even cooler.
Right. Starting from the beginning and grinding and kind of being in the loop rather than not
Yeah, it'd
really
be fun
knowing
if
what's
we
going
all
on with
started.
exotics and DLC and shit
Right,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, because
it's
if
cool
I
if we
would
all-
have started Destiny 1 like right now, I wouldn't know what the fuck I was doing. At least like this is gonna be like a fresh start,
Right.
and I know a lot of people are getting it, so I mean we'll actually have people to do all those missions with rather than trying to solo shit.
Yeah, it'll be cool if we all start around the same level and just kind of progress at about the same rate. You know,
Right.
I know some of you guys will be able to play earlier than others, and will probably play more than others, but it always sucks in a game when you start playing with somebody and they're way higher level than you, and they kind of carry you basically. But
Right.
it'll be a good game.
Okay. Destiny 2 beta, we played that, or no, you guys didn't all play that. You just kind of excited for it.
Yeah, I have never. I didn't play it.
Okay, so Tyler, me, and Kibby, we all tried it. So yeah, we're all looking forward to that. It comes out Wednesday. As far as other betas,
Wait,
I know
can-
three of us
was
could
cool.
grind. We grind at Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
We want to get Kenny's take first because he didn't play it because he has a different view on certain betas. Like why didn't you play
Yeah.
it? Like, and
Well-
what are your thoughts of what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of betas. I know that's not the popular opinion today, but I've never really cared for betas just because it's kind of like a nostalgia thing how back in when we were little kids, the first time you really saw anything about a game was when you first put it into your console for the first time. That's all you knew. And I mean, even though we can't do that anymore, regardless if you play the beta or not, you're still gonna learn things about the game before it's out. But to me, if I go and I play multiplayer in a beta and then I get the game and then I play it for the first day, it feels the same. It doesn't really feel new anymore. So that's the only reason why I really don't play the betas. But I did watch some of Jake's videos and some of his streaming of the beta, and I liked what I saw. The mechanics of it did look a lot like older COD. the guns, are look pretty accurate. I remember Tyler saying something about how recoil is a thing. It's not just
yeah,
a
it is.
God,
yeah,
it
it's
really
not just a
is.
shoot and point and shoot. The sound seemed good. I didn't see many different maps. I didn't know how many there were in the beta. I think I only saw like one, but
Gotcha.
it looked good. It's definitely way better than like the last, I don't know, 3 games at least.
Jetpacks.
Yeah, any of those games.
It's
So,
weird. What do those all have in common?
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm pretty excited for
You're
it. I'll
excited
definitely
for
be
it?
getting it. Oh yeah, definitely. I still really love Battlefield and always will, but this game's definitely going to be good, and I'm excited for the campaign. I know you guys don't necessarily play a lot of campaigns, but
I'm looking forward to this
uh,
campaign too,
yeah,
honestly.
but
Specifically for me too, it's like I think all of us, we all started with boots on the ground,
Hmm.
and I think that's like the most popular thing in this game, and so I think a lot of people are going to be excited that that's going back. I thought it felt good overall. I mean, there's a lot of things not a lot of things, but certain things that would change.
I would
Number
go as far
one,
as to say it was the best beta that's been out recently. As far as
oh, for
like
sure.
running, the servers were great like the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a big thing that I noticed with the COD beta this time is with the first time I started the game, I like clicked A to start it, and then it had one update. It updated, the game restarted, it opened, and I joined the game almost instantly. I didn't have any lag issues the entire time the beta was out. I played the first 3 days for at least 2 hours each day, and I never had a single connection issue. I never got kicked from a game or anything like that. And then I feel like in the past, um, especially with the Call of Duty betas, we've ran into the issue where we can't connect, and even when we partied, I mean, there's still times when I get on like Black Ops 3 and we can't connect, or you get into games with like 7 people on one team and 5 on the other still, and the game's already been out for 2 years. And like this beta didn't have any of those issues, so I really like that. It gives it a good image up front rather than a bad one because you can't even connect to the game to begin with.
Yeah, it
Right.
definitely played well. Like, if I lagged, it wasn't for long, and it was maybe just a server issue, not like the whole game. Um, I don't know. What else did you guys like? I mean, overall, I thought the weapons were pretty. There were a few weapons, and we'll get into that I didn't like, but for the most part, like the assault rifles and the submachine guns, I thought were pretty well balanced and pretty fun. As you said, Kenny, the recoil was like more there, which just makes you has to improve your skill level almost. I in the last 3 CODs, I feel like guns shot straighter, but maybe that's just adjust for all that extra movement that some people didn't like, some people
Hmm.
did.
Adds a
I
sense
they
of
have
balance as
marksman?
well.
Do they have marksman rifles in that beta? Like DMRs, single,
Uh,
semi-auto guns.
They had the M1 Garand and the carbine, the M1 carbine. So
Okay.
you have your semi-auto rifles because I mean Jake
Okay.
said assault rifle, but in
Right.
that day the
Okay.
assault
Yeah.
rifle
Okay.
technically wasn't a
Right.
thing.
Right.
It
Right.
was
Yeah.
just a rifle. I
Right.
mean, that's another thing that I really like about this COD is that I mean so far obviously we don't know what kind of DLC will come out for it yet, but all the guns are real guns. I mean from the grease gun, the different trench shotguns, the M1 Garand, the carbine, the STG, like everything like that. The Thompson was in it, the M1903
MP40.
sniper. That wasn't in the beta, but
I
That'll be
think
I,
it's
I
interesting.
think it's
supposed to be a thing.
I think it's
That's
gonna
gonna
be
have to
the
be.
I think it's gonna be the class because there's like 4 classes, like the sniper, like the submachine gun, assault rifle, like type players, like subclasses. I don't know what to call it. But after you master your subclass, whatever you'd want to consider it, you get a class weapon, and I think the Thompson's gonna be the class weapon for the submachine gun
Oh yeah, the Thompson.
or the
Looks good.
MP40. Sorry, excuse me.
yeah, I was gonna say
Oh
they
yeah,
released
yeah.
the Thompson in this last beta as one,
Right.
so I don't think that'll be the final weapon.
No, I think it's definitely gonna be the
uh,
MP40 for submachine guns.
Oh, for sure.
They'll probably have like the Car 98K in there and later on too.
I think the Mosin Nagant is gonna end up being the snipers.
You think Springfield's gonna join too?
Yes.
Springfield was in the beta.
That's what the M1903
Oh,
was.
Yeah.
I'm a
Um,
fucking idiot. God damn it, Jake. Know
they
your
added,
history.
they
God damn
added it.
it.
they added it like what, the second or third day, I believe,
Hmm.
this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 5 subclasses, and then I like they didn't have any of the variants for melee weapons, I don't believe, in the beta,
Um,
because I'm on their website right now. It shows that there's going to be like a shovel and an ice pick and things along those
Oh
lines.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah. That's
surprised.
a little bit of a page out of Battlefield One's book on that one with the because
Yeah,
they had a bunch of different. They had a shovel. They had a. I believe they had like some type of like club with spikes in it,
hmm.
and they had.
Well, I'm hoping this time
Um,
around it's a lot more realistic because I was tired of like Black Ops 3 getting killed by a fucking boxing glove or shit like
yeah,
that.
Right.
I
That
really
shit was
hope that
annoying as hell, dude.
I hope two things. I hope that they don't put in, well, mainly one thing. I hope that they don't put in DLC weapons like for, well, meaning like stuff that comes out of a chest that you just get by random chance.
Dude, I'm worried
That
that they're going
really,
to.
that really turned me off, especially on the Modern Warfare Remastered. That
Yeah,
really turned me off of that.
you know,
Um,
I I do and don't have an issue with it. Like, is if they release the guns, and as long as the guns are like real, because I know a lot of things that they talked about in the announcements for this game is that they want to be as historically accurate as possible. It's like one of the most historically accurate Call of Duties they've made so far.
right.
So if they release guns and they're real guns, I don't have an issue as long as they're still fairly balanced. I think if they start releasing the DLC guns and they're OP like they have been in the last couple games, I mean, if you only have if only certain people have the chances of getting like guns that are going to be like top tier guns for like Infinite Warfare, for instance. Jake knows
Oh my
my
god, you
my
used to mow down with that
VPR or
fucking.
VPN or whatever that submachine gun was. It was just
Right.
unstoppable. It was the best submachine gun in the game, and I just got it out of a chest. So I feel like as long as the new guns that come in like any sort of crates or anything are balanced still, and they kind of fit in the mix of like every other gun, then I think it's not as bad. But I'm still not a
yeah,
huge fan though
I
either.
feel like
it's
if they do that chest system too, they need to make it so you have a lot easier of a chance to get those weapons. I feel like in the past titles, like stuff out of those chests, like it was just so hard to get certain weapons and you just had to grind. And I know that's kind
yeah,
of what they want, but it's like if other people have those guns and you just get unlucky constantly, like it's really just you know, I
yeah.
just feel like it's unfair.
I really liked how in chess, for other games, you could get cosmetic things like
Right?
skins, or
Yeah,
like
yeah. I
I
think that's
really
pretty
Exactly.
liked
dope.
in Modern Warfare Remastered how you can like change the look of your character. I thought that was really cool, but I think weapons should just be given to anybody,
Hmm.
maybe a certain level or whatever. But I think that's I don't know. It's like why if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Like they
Yeah.
don't unnecessary to put them into a chest. Yeah.
Um. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, coming down to character customization too, they didn't have any of that really in the beta. I mean, your character's model like changed with what he was wearing based on the like the class that you picked. There was 5 total classes, and like for instance, I sniped a lot, so I used the mountain, and my guy had a ghillie suit.
Yeah.
But I did notice also that when you pre-order the game, you get a special edition pre-order helmet. It looks kind of cool. So I think once they release the final game, and they talked about it even, there's going to be a lot more character customization, and I think that'll come into play a lot in the headquarters mode, which they've talked about,
Yep. Yeah,
which
that's the
also
social
wasn't in the
one.
beta.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think as far as character customization goes, it's probably going to have quite a bit. I don't know how in depth. I don't think anybody really knows as far as how much, but
I think
um,
they'll have a lot. I just hope they don't get like throwing a bunch of memey stuff,
Yeah. I don't like
Exactly.
flashy shit either.
Yeah.
Like I don't want
if
them
you can
like
run
making
around with a
up camos
yeah,
and
if you can
shit.
run
Like
around in a hot pink suit on a battlefield in World War II, it's just kind of
it'll really
Yeah.
hurt the game. I
ridiculous.
think.
It
I
will.
Yeah.
I know that they're kind of limited, but I just don't want if they're trying to go for realistic, and that's obviously what they have said that they want to do. I just don't want like super flashy shit. Like there's plenty of stuff in in World War II that they can use, I guess, like as far as camos and skins and shit.
Yeah, they can they can expand the game and have it realistic still
Yeah,
without adding the unrealistic stuff. Like, I mean, even just if it comes down to like having different types of coats or like jackets and stuff that they would wear and had like different color schemes or different camos because I mean they did have different camouflage like jackets, helmets, and everything down to that based on where they were located.
Right.
Yeah.
So
As far
I
as the
mean,
maps, I mean, you guys, Colt, you and Tyler, you guys played all 4, right? That came out.
Yep,
yeah, I
all
did.
4.
Which ones did you like? Which ones did you not like?
I think the
We'll
new
let
map
Cole
was
start.
stellar. They dropped the new map. I think it was amazing. I think it was the best map that we played, in my opinion. I think that what was it, Point Day Hawk?
Point to Hawk,
Point to Hawk or
Point to
on
Hawk
the
was
trench map.
it was pretty good. I didn't when I thought about playing on a trench map in Call of Duty. It just sounds horrible. Sounds just like everyone's gonna have shotguns. But as the beta went on, I think it kind of toned down a little bit and actually became a really fun map. I think those 2 would definitely be my favorites out of all of them, honestly, from the beta. I'm pretty excited to see what other map. I didn't play the. Did you guys play the War map ever?
I
versus
didn't play War.
Breakout.
That's the
I never.
one thing
Yeah,
I wish I would have
I
played.
forgot to
did.
play it.
I did play War. It was really different. I know Owen liked it a lot more than I did. But it was definitely enjoyable. I think it's something new. Well, it's obviously something new, but for COD, I kind of thought of it at first when they were talking about it that it might actually like hurt. Like it's because it's not how COD was originally played or has ever been played. But
War was in an old
you
game, was it not?
well, it
It's a
was,
it
but
was a different
it's completely
style mode.
different.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this new War is totally.
So, do you know how it works?
It's
Yeah.
basically like
Okay.
you guys have played Overwatch, right?
hmm
It's
Yeah.
basically like the payload thing, if I'm kind of in a
Well, it's
sense, right?
At a certain
okay.
point.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, I think every map that they release for the war game mode is going to be different as far as your
has its own
objective.
like objectives.
Yeah. So this one, you start and there's an attacking and defending team, and the attacking team has to capture like a room inside of a house, and it's kind of cool because like the defenders can go into the house. They normally get there like just a second or 2 sooner. So at first it's a gunfight. The winning team can either, I mean, if the attacking team wins that initial gunfight and can clear out most of them, they start capturing. The other team wins. There's an option where they can actually like start to build barriers. So like you hold X. It's kind of like building the barriers in the zombies mode, like the walls, but you build like you stack bricks and like seal up walls.
Right.
So at that point it closes off areas where they have to get in. So the only way that they can break in now is there's like C4 packs that you have to plant to the outside or TNT to the outside of those walls to like blow them down again. And then that'll open up another access point into like the point they have to capture. And then after you capture, you go to a point where you have to build a bridge. And it's the
I
same
think
thing.
I think I actually did see that.
Once you build the bridge, they destroyed it. It happens before the game starts, but that's like the story behind it. Um, you have to rebuild it so your tank can cross, and then you have to go detonate like these. I believe they're like ammo depots or something. Like it's like where they keep ammunition, and then you have to transport that tank to the final thing. And once you get it past a certain point, um, that's how you win. And they just have to defend, and then you switch sides, and the other team does it. And if you get through the whole thing, it comes down to the time. It keeps track of how long it took for each objective.
Got you. So,
Very different.
It
right,
is,
so
but I
you
really
played
like
the
this part.
other maps though. Did you like them? Did you not like them? Which ones did you?
Um, I was kind of on the same page as Colt with the trench map. Um, I was kind of wondering how it was going to work and hoping that the layout wasn't going to be make it too shotgun friendly. Um, Kenny, anyway,
Kenny's gonna like that map a lot.
he
Yeah.
will, especially that
The
first
infamous
shotgun.
shotgunner he is.
That first shotgun was insanely strong at first, and it was almost annoying to play against, especially with the incendiary rounds on it, which is how it started on the pre-made class. Um, it was kind of annoying, but I think it definitely like tuned down after people started playing the beta. They realized that you could get kills with other guns and didn't have to
Yeah.
use a shotgun. I mean, I actually had one game there on that map specifically. I went 22-1, and I used the STG, I think. So I mean, you can definitely be successful on the map with other guns other than that shotgun. But
Yeah, that's one thing I always worry about COD is since the maps are smaller, it's like the landscape of the map really matters just because um, certain maps are in danger of becoming a map for a certain type of gun. You know, where certain maps like
You
oh
can
the
dominate
shotgun's
with
gonna be
yeah.
dominant, or certain other maps, a sniper might be more dominant. That's one thing that a smaller map size can be vulnerable to, but if the map's done right, then they can make it so people can be successful doing different things.
Like Rust
Um,
on Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
yeah,
You could
and
snipe, noob
one
tube, shotgun, submachine gun. You could do
one of
anything
my
on that map.
one that
God.
comes to mind for me is High Rise. You could do anything.
High res is
Mhm.
legendary.
That map was like it had like the perfect layout because I mean there was those people that sat up on the roofs of buildings and could snipe, but you could also snipe anywhere else because there was longer lanes, but they weren't too long to the point where a submachine gun or an assault rifle weren't effective.
As much as I hate to like credit to it, Nuketown, another one of those maps where there's people using everything every map.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
I feel like they've done a good job in the past with having the smallest map on every game. So I mean, even if you go back to World at War, even on World at War, you could use anything on the map Dome. Um, so like World at War's
Yeah,
smallest
wow.
map was Dome, Modern Warfare 2 was Rust, um, Black Ops 1. I didn't play Black Ops 1 as much as most
Well, I
people. I
mean,
don't remember that
Nuketown.
small map. Oh yeah, it was
Nuketown.
Nuketown, duh.
Nuketown.
Oops. And then I mean, all the way up, you always had those small maps, and even like Modern Warfare 3 with the face-off playlists, like those maps, you could do
Oh,
anything there.
I
Like
would love
use
to see them bring
Ground.
that back.
yeah,
Yeah,
Honestly,
that'd be fun.
yeah,
I don't think they will, but
probably not. But I mean, they've always done good at like doing the layout. I think for the like the smaller maps because I think most of the smallest maps in every game are playable from any point. I don't think there's really been a major issue with that yet. But
for me personally, I think my least favorite map was that Point to Hawk. Maybe it's just because I sucked at it, which is I was just getting railed by that shotgun the whole time. It just felt too dominant for me. But and then the last one that they came out with, it was I thought it was okay. It had a nice sniper range in the middle. I mean, I feel like it was probably the best as far as like one open lane for
which one?
sniping, but I thought there was almost too many head glitches. And for me, I think my favorite was probably Arden's Forest. I liked the three lanes. I thought it ran smoothly and was pretty well balanced. You had on the trench side or the not the trench side, the bunker side. You had that like a nice good sniper lane, but there was a lot of good submachine gun areas, and then like your ARs and your I keep on saying AR. You know what I mean.
Rifles.
Your rifles and I don't know. I thought that one was most well balanced. Gibraltar, I feel like in the mid was good, but like you had your high point and your low point, and I feel like that can go as an advantage for the team that's higher, even though it started not playing out that way towards the end of the beta because people adjusted.
hmm
I think
But
it takes time also for everyone to learn the maps and learn their own way of playing.
right, it's true.
And once people learned their gameplay style for this game, which obviously isn't set in stone because it's only a 4-day beta, but um, I think they adapt to, and it kind of made it so that that map wasn't so much as an uphill battle as it was when it first came out. Because,
Right.
like you said, I mean, the team that started at the end of the map that was lower, you were always trapped. I felt like it was really hard because if you went the left side where there was that big hole in the ground, there could always be somebody up in that window, like peeking with a sniper.
Yeah.
And then if you came out through mid, I mean, you had to walk up the stairs that had no cover from the guys straight across that were head glitching the wall. And then all the way up that lane, if you come across that right side of the map, there's like head glitches on the barrel. So you were always trapped, like if they were set up well.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people saying that they weren't sure about that map and it being an uphill battle, how that would like transfer into comp. But I mean, Combine was one of the maps that we had for Black Ops 3 beta, and that was never played in competitive. So like, there's a good chance that we'll never see the map. It'll just be a pub map, just for fun, uphill
Right,
battle.
yeah, no, that's how
Won't
I
really
always see
matter
it, too.
anyways.
I think only for me, Arden's Forest would be the only one that would transfer to competitive, just because it had.
I
good
think the new
lanes.
map
The new one was
could.
pretty good too.
Yeah,
Definitely
the one
could.
that's in like
I feel like
the
that could be like a
city.
search and destroy almost, maybe. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't. Did you guys play Hardpoint at all?
I did not.
Very
I only
little.
played Team Deathmatch. I played a little bit of Domination, and then I played the War game mode quite a bit.
Gotcha. All right. Changes. Like, what stuff did you guys just not really like that you would probably change as far as the beta? Kenny, did you see anything that you noticed? I know you didn't play it, but was there anything?
Um, anything I'd change?
Yeah. Is there anything that just came to mind, or you just didn't get enough to really make a?
Yeah, I mean, immediately no. Um, I have to not think like a Battlefield player when I look at that game,
Right.
just because like and my immediate reaction is like, oh, these maps are so dang tiny. I'm used to the huge
Yeah.
maps of Battlefield. Um, from listening to that war game mode, just what comes to mind as maybe a worry point is I'm with how you could like build up barriers and stuff. I'm worried that there's gonna be times where the defending team can just camp and just watch their prey come in and just mow them down.
I've
I'm
seen
not
videos too,
sure.
and I had that concern as well. I just feel like there was just a bunch of people throwing nades in one spot, and I don't know if it played out better
Yeah,
towards the end. Tyler, I
I
think you're the only one who
almost.
played it.
Yeah, I mean, the one map that on Operation Breakout, there was like a point where I thought, because like the one wall that you could build specifically, that's the first objective that you capture when you have to capture the room is the only one that you build a physical wall. The other ones you can build like there's sandbags set up and you like hold X and it'll like place an MG42 mounted gun. So as far as like the building the wall goes, where the wall that you could build was located wasn't actually I lied. You could do it in the third point as well. But that one it's kind of cool because I don't think once the attacking team plants the bomb on those points to destroy it, I don't believe that it can be destroyed or like disarmed, like the bomb can't. So once you get that plant, and it plants pretty fast, and the way the map was laid out in that area, like there wasn't any corners where somebody could sit and be pretty safe and just watch those walls. Like if they were out and could see, like for instance on that one there was trees, so there's like a we'll say a window here, and then there's a tree, and then that wall is right here. So if you build that, um, like if you're trying to disarm the wall and somebody's inside peeking out the window, that tree blocks the cover
Yeah.
completely. So if you're trying to plant it, they can't just sit and head glitch in that window and shoot you. It's covered. So for them to be able to come or be able to kill you, they have to jump out. So if you have a team and you're playing, like if us four were playing and like one of us runs up to start that and then everybody else kind of defends them and starts shooting through windows and watching, like for instance on that map the left side, it's really not as hard to like you can't really just sit there and camp those spots necessarily. You'd have to have be set up really well, I think, to camp them and be successful.
So you think
Hmm.
like the attacking team, if they actually like work together, they'll be okay. Like they won't
Yeah,
What
get
is
stuck on
the
those
for sure.
spots.
Yep.
what is the team size on that game mode? Is that
um
six or
I
I
think
is
it
think
was
that
it's
66
larger?
still.
66. Yeah.
Yep.
Was it six?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I do like that the objective is like dynamic and moving, like
Yeah.
the tank thing.
Well,
That's
and
good because like game modes like demolition or something where the bomb's just sitting in one place.
yeah.
If the payload's moving, that keeps the team moving. It keeps them from setting up shop for too long.
And
Yeah.
I think that's one thing everyone can agree on is they definitely took so much outside, like what's the word I'm looking for? Outside, uh,
Like in
it starts with an I.
influence.
Influence. Yeah.
Influence, outside influence. They took a
Okay.
Yeah.
ton of it. They've got basically a payload from Overwatch. They've got bayonet charges from Battlefield. Like, also one last thing I wanted to talk about on that game as well was the. What do you guys think about the mounted guns on the multiplayer maps everywhere?
I like the idea, but I think they were a little strong during the beta.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
I
but
think if they go ahead.
with that gun though, I mean, coming down to that realism thing again, those guns in that time period were insanely powerful. But I do think in the multiplayer that it could be a little bit overpowered. I think that you should be able to maybe like destroy them and then so like coming in the war mode like you can rebuild them. I think that should be a thing. So there can't just be somebody like runs up holding X, running up, and just instantly shooting.
Hmm.
I think if you could like destroy it, and they'd have to rebuild it, and then it would kind of slow it down a little bit and make them still useful, but a little bit they're not so easy to use.
Right. I mean, they definitely put you in a vulnerable position when you're in them. I feel like all of them are in a spot where it's super easy to kill you off of it, but
Yeah,
I
and
definitely
there's
wouldn't be
multiple
objected to that
angles.
idea of just having to rebuild them.
I
Yeah.
feel like too if they'll eliminate it, or they might even just somehow get rid of them if it's like a competitive
Hmm.
mode. Because if they're going to be on every map, which was there any map that they weren't on? Was it maybe the new one? There wasn't any.
I don't. There wasn't one on Duhawk, was there?
Yep.
Was there?
Duhawk, the trench map on the right
Yeah,
side,
Oh yes, there was.
yeah.
by B
On
flag, I believe. A
yep.
flag, one of them.
Okay, I
I
forgot
don't
about
I
remember.
don't know. Maybe they'll leave it in. Just
A flag, I think it was.
right.
I think in some apps they might actually have some different form of layable, deployable,
Hmm.
gun, or like maybe like a mortar that you could put down, or something like that. Or maybe they'll even take a page out of like Battlefield's book, like having a kit like a flamethrower kit laying around somewhere that somebody could pick up,
I think
something
flamethrower is
like
actually
that. Okay, yeah.
They have a
class.
flamethrower. No, the
Maybe.
flamethrower is a kill streak, I
Okay,
believe.
kill
Okay.
streak.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Yep, the flamethrower is or a score streak. The flamethrower is a score streak, and then again to the war game mode. At certain points there would be a plane that would fly over and drop a duffel bag, which is how the care packages come in, is in the duffel bag with a circular parachute. They would drop one of those that would like have a flamethrower in it, so the team could have the flamethrower in war too. But it was randomly dropped off through a like by a plane in a care package.
Um, Jake, going back to your thing when you asked if I would change anything, one thing I did notice from gameplay, it wasn't any of your guys's. It was just a random video I saw of a guy in the firing range. Now, I'm not positive if any of the guns do have this feature, but I noticed the guy would grab a machine gun like a Lewis gun, for example, and he could fire his entire clip and just keep firing, and there wasn't any temperature effects, because a lot of guns back in that time were very overheatable,
Yeah.
and like in Battlefield you have to manage your fire rate at times. You can lay down some lead, but it gets to a point where you overheat your gun on a lot of these different guns. But I didn't see that when I saw a guy in the firing range um, messing around with some heavy machine guns. So that's maybe one thing I might add.
And I think these
is that
heavy machine guns have bipods now. Is that one thing I saw? So there's no recoil? Is that something I saw as well that might be kind of ridiculous?
I
they'd at
do
least have
know
reduced, I would think.
the MG42, the mounted machine guns would overheat. I do know that. Um, but yeah, those the mounted MG40 two machine guns would overheat. But yeah, as far as the normal LMGs, if adding to that realism aspect of the game again, I think that would be something that would definitely add to it. But um, Jake turned blue.
I know. I fucking my TV was just glowing on me.
Yeah, I would like looked over at my one monitor and looked back, and you were blue.
I was
So
like,
that was
oh,
weird.
that's probably awkward.
Yeah, you're
Um,
turning violet. Okay.
you know, oh my god, damn blueberry now. But I think what was I gonna say? I think they need to, and I know it's gonna be hard because they're really trying to add to the like realism, and so they're like, I know like the developers actually went to places, and
Mhm.
based on those places, they're making their maps. I hope that they have more like 3-lane style maps rather than like I don't know. The Hawk just given I know some of those are just for pubs, but I just hoping because for me the maps were okay. I mean they're better than like Ghost or Infinite Warfare, but that's not saying much as far as map development goes. I
True.
I don't know. That's just something that I would like to see. I also think there may or may not be needing a nerf for that shotgun. Kenny, close your ears.
They definitely
Plug
do.
them.
That was gonna be
Since I can get a chance to use it anyways, to me it might be OP to begin with anyways, just because I
Right.
never got to play beta style. But
I know.
You know,
Some people
Here's
I played with Cam and fucking who else was I playing with last night? Boozy, and they were loving it. They were loving that shotgun. It was just they're like, how can you play this game and not play with this gun? I was just like, dude, I just suck with shotguns. So that's
yeah,
probably part of my bitching. But
if there's a pump action shotgun, regardless, I'll be trying it out. You know.
I
Oh,
really
you
like
don't
the.
trust me.
I really liked this STG. I think that was my favorite gun. Did you guys have like a favorite one in particular for you guys?
Um, Me personally, I did like the STG as for the rifle.
Hmm.
Um, as far as the submachine gun class goes, a lot of people, Jake, I know you were saying when the game first released that the grease gun was kind of worthless, but I mean, in my
I feel like
opinion,
they fixed it towards the end of beta.
I
I don't know
think
if they
so too.
updated or whatever, but it just felt better.
Yeah,
And maybe I was just shit talking to be, complaining.
yeah.
But
I didn't watch any gameplay from the PlayStation exclusive weekend, the first weekend of the beta. So I didn't really see how that gun performed. But personally, I really liked the last. It looked the Type 100 was good, but then I unlocked that last one, and I drawn a blank on what that was called. But I really liked that one.
the last, because didn't they end up adding like the Thompson?
Well, they did, but I didn't play at that point.
Because I picked that
There
up and
was
that shot pretty nice too.
I think the gun that I think they personally did the best work on, that I was kind of worried about, was the Commonwealth. The first bolt action
Yeah,
sniper, I think, was done beyond standards. I think it was so fun to use.
I same. To me, I have more fun sniping in that beta than I have in like the last two games combined. I know you, Colt, were good as fuck at Black Ops 3
I was
sniping.
biting my lip. I was like, yeah. The last two games, counting Modern Warfare Remastered, Infinite Warfare, then yeah.
Yeah.
Black Ops 3, the sniping was phenomenal, I think. But
I mean, I'm a sucky sniper, so I can't comment much, but
I
um,
did notice when I watched some gameplay of it, like you'd zoom in and doesn't it, after you're zoomed in for so long, it like blacks out everything around and it
if
quiets things
if you
down.
that's if
steady
you
your
hold your
yeah,
breath.
if you
yeah,
hold your
Okay.
breath
Okay. I
with the
thought that was a cool
snipers.
feature that would probably help me focus a little bit. I
It
did
does.
like how in Ghost, they, when you zoomed in with your sniper, it kind of blurred everything around you, but
Hmm.
it still, you could still see everything. It was just blurry. I like that, but I also like the blacking out everything.
Well, and
Um,
that's how when you scope in, it does have that blur effect until you hold your breath, and that's when it'll black out. So until that
so
point,
that's
it is
good.
similar to Ghost. Um, with the gun size and like the scope size, because I mean, for example, on that on the sniper rifle, it's the last one, the Springfield, the M1903. Like the scope is like the length of the gun. Um, and that's how it was back when the gun was like in use. So I think when you scope in anyway, it's really hard to like see because the scope was so big. So the surrounding area isn't really as effective as it was in Ghost. Because from what I remember in Ghost, you could see people clearly running on the
Yeah.
side of that scope. But in this game, I don't think you can because of the size of the scopes.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to be able to see people anyways. I think being able to not do it that way would be a good thing. So that's another thing uh, that stood out that I liked when I saw the little bit of gameplay. But I like that they're slowing the pace down. Obviously no jetpacks. So I think it's gonna be a really good game. I mean, to be one of my favorites, like top two, which would probably be like the Modern Warfare's to me. Uh, I'm not sure yet if it's going to be one of those, but I'd say it'll easily be a top five
yeah, I
to
think it
me.
will definitely rejuvenate the COD scene as a whole. I mean, not just competitive, but like it just makes it more fluid.
Yeah,
It's a
That
I
breath
think
of
might,
fresh air.
yeah,
yeah, our generation of gamers is going to come
be
and
really excited.
throw down on the kids who
Yeah,
have been excited about the last few
Right,
games. It's
like
going to
all the
be good
COD
stories.
pros, all the old COD
Yeah.
pros are coming out of the woodworks. Like we're back, baby, we're back.
we're back, baby.
Yeah.
Um,
But
before we move on, I don't know what you guys are looking like on time, but any final thoughts? I do want to get to at least one more topic before we do end it.
As far as Call of Duty, I mean, when's our release date? Do we know?
November
3rd?
3rd.
November 3rd or
November
the
3rd, yeah.
Okay.
I took that whole weekend off work. Whoops. Sorry, Little
Nice.
Caesars. Pizza Pete.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean,
Just kidding.
I just got some vacation awarded to me from work, so maybe I'll have to take that weekend off too. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
just let
gonna
me know.
grind it.
Did you tell them why you needed it off, Jake?
I said personal reasons.
Perfect. Same.
Actually, no, I just straight up told her, I was like, hey, I took off this weekend because there's a game coming out and I'm just not gonna come. And she was like, all right, well, at least you gave us a few months in advance, even though she took down the calendar, so she probably won't even remember. But
Yeah, I mean, it'd be different if you asked for like the week before, like, hey, this game's coming out. Can I go sit on my ass for a few days?
Yeah.
But
So, yeah.
all right, so Call of Duty, we're excited for that November 3rd. So what's left? There's games out there. What are you guys other games that you're like looking forward to? Is there any in particular that we haven't mentioned?
I mean, I think all the sports games kind of fall into it every year. There's the new sport games that everyone wants to try.
Yeah, I'm really excited for FIFA because
Mhm.
there's some things that they're planning on fixing. The crosses are supposed to be better, or like I
Hopefully.
hope they're gonna be, more like how they used to be. And they got rid of the new penalty kick system. They're doing away with that, going back to the old style. The dribbling, they brought back the slow dribbling. And now they're supposed to make it so you could actually beat a defender by just changing directions instead of having to know a bunch of skill moves, which might be nice.
Right.
Let's see how it plays out. These ideas don't always work out, but I'm excited for it. They're adding. I know you guys don't play a ton of Ultimate Team, but in Ultimate Team, they're instead of having just one version of each Legends player, they're actually adding 3 different versions of each Legends player from various parts of their career, so they all have different stats and stuff and different looks to them. I thought that was really cool, and they always add on to pro clubs and all that stuff, customization and stuff. That's really cool, and yeah, I'm ready for it. Chell is another game that is probably going to be pretty decent. I know we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit, but that's a game I might also get. As far as the others go, like NBA 2K, I haven't really been into 2K in a long time. And Madden, I've heard decent things about that. That one's already out, I believe, but
Yeah, it's got like a story mode or something now too.
yeah,
which I
they
heard is
kind of
pretty
took.
cool.
Yeah, it's funny because I can't remember if it was NBA or FIFA did that first, but now it's like all these games are starting to have a story mode in there. But that's not really what I look forward to in a sports game. But yeah,
Right.
and FIFA and NHL, I'll probably end up getting as far as sports go.
Right. Tyler, you got anything like you're like, yes, this is finally coming out?
I want to see more on the game Anthem, but I know that they talked about that game at E3 a little bit, but the only thing they said really was, I mean, they had the basic trailer, and then they talked very, very little about it.
Right.
I mean, we still got a whole another year for that game.
I was
So
gonna say that's a 2018 release, I believe, isn't
fall
it?
of
Yeah, we'll talk
2018,
about that in
super
about
dope.
Yeah,
a
we
week's
got
worth of podcast
we got
time.
time.
Hey,
Settle
you
down.
just asked if there's any games I'm
I
excited
know.
for.
I'm just
They announced
kidding
it
with
this
you.
year, so. But I
You,
mean, my hopes are that because they announced it so soon, and that it's not going to be out for a while, that there's going to be a lot of time put into it. Because I mean, from the gameplay that they were able to show, the game already looked pretty crisp and clean. So I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
there's a Forza Motorsport 7. I'm definitely looking forward to
Mhm.
too. As far as my you know racing games go, I'll definitely probably gonna get that on Xbox and play it on a controller. Even though I have a wheel and everything, I'll probably play that on the controller. But
Play it on the wheel.
I'm thinking about
It's
it.
just not
Maybe this
Forza without the
does.
controller, man. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, man. I think I would be better. I think with the wheel. I
I'll
mean,
just crash into shit.
Forza
That's all I do.
Forza has a
that's why
very
you don't play
good
iRacing.
controller. It's very controller friendly, I guess. You could definitely play it on the wheel, but quite honestly, I'd probably be faster on the controller.
Mhm.
Just because
You're
I've been
Kenny
used to it for
freaking
so long.
Kibby, dude. You can do whatever you want.
You do have kind of like a
Just like either
NASCAR
way.
driver name, Kenny Kivy.
But I have two sleeper games that I think might end up being decent. One of them, I don't know if it's necessarily a sleeper, but it's a game that not many people talked about as far as us. But Star Wars Battlefront
Yeah,
2
I
is
was
coming
gonna bring that one up
out
too.
in November 17th. That'll definitely be better than the first one. The first
Oh,
one, I feel like they did a nice job of
It was
what
a good
they
job
put
for the
into the
reboot
game,
for sure.
but they didn't add enough. There were so many things that just completely left out.
I think
So
the Space Wars is gonna be huge. I think that's what a lot of the fan base liked
yeah,
from the original Star Wars Battlefront 2. I don't think they had it in the original Battlefront.
and
But
having an actual campaign will be
yeah,
cool.
I think that's huge that there's gonna be a lot more battles and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you like Battlefield, which you love it, it's the same engine, and so
Right.
it's EA's game. Whether you like the company EA or not, it's the graphics should be good. I think it's gonna play well.
And
I think besides Call of Duty, personally for me, that's the game I'm looking forward to the most.
there's
I
one.
Go ahead. I'm
Yeah, there's one other game I have in mind that I may end up getting. It's not a game that I've ever had. Uh, it's called Middle Earth: Shadow of War. I know
Mhm.
they had Shadow of Mordor a few years ago,
Oh, is that
but
the
in
okay?
Did play Shadow of
Lord of the Rings
Mordor.
style game. Yeah,
Kyle
but
really liked that game.
in this game you can basically you have essentially randomly generated enemies that you have to, basically attack, and there are these huge battles that go on, and if you defeat that main enemy, you can recruit them onto your army, and then you could basically build up your army full of different species of people, and choose who to go fight your next battle. And based on who you choose to go fight that battle, there's a cutscene at the beginning of all these major battles, and your cutscene and your battle as a whole will play out differently based on who you picked to fight with you. And I just thought it's a really dynamic story, really decision based, and it's really random, and everybody's experience is going to be different. And I like games like that. I don't like games that are just really straightforward. Everybody's game starts and ends the same. So that's another game I may end up getting and just playing through, but that one
Mhm.
may become a dark horse. So
I think one game a lot of people didn't uh, really even hear about or get into. The original was Ori and the Blind Forest. One of the most like beautiful games I've ever played. Super emotional, super beautiful. It's a side scroller. Um, they announced it. I was trying to pull up the release date. I couldn't find it, but it got announced at this year's E3. It's Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It's the sequel, and I guess that's supposed to be equally as amazing.
I've heard briefly about that game. It
Highly recommend if you get the chance to play Ori and the Blind Forest. It's amazing, like puzzle or side scroll RPG. Super awesome.
Is it free?
You could probably get it dirt cheap. Honestly,
Super.
it's probably dirt cheap.
uh,
Well, I think that's
That's
it.
all I got for the
Yeah.
games.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I think we
Um,
did pretty
I mean,
dang good.
yeah, I mean, we wrapped up a pretty full podcast.
mhm.
Episode one of many, hopefully. We touched on who we are, what we all do, and what we're interested in, and
And
we
a whole
all.
lot of Call of Duty.
Yep, we had a whole lot of
Call
Call of
of
Duty. That
Duty.
was obviously going to be a big topic in our
I
first episode.
Mhm.
right.
We're just now getting into the
Kyle.
next fall gaming season,
Yeah.
when all the biggest games come out. So this is kind of a decent preview for that. Maybe in the future we could touch on other specific games that we've seen.
Mhm.
We touched on COD. Maybe we could touch on another one in the future. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good starting episode, definitely.
For sure.
I just do want to throw out there for anybody that does watch the podcast, we don't have like a set schedule on when our next one could be. Could be a week, could be a month. Like
Mhm.
we're all busy. I go to school and I work. Colt works a lot. Kenny works a lot. Tyler works a lot. And it's like so and all of our schedules, it's just like different times. Even when we all can play or stream or whatever,
Hmm.
one person will be gone. So we're gonna try our best. I enjoyed this. I don't know if
Definitely.
you guys do. I think it's just it's nice to talk about gaming.
I think the best way to know when the next podcast would be to follow all of us on Twitter, follow the Nocturnal Gaming account on Twitter, and also just tune into everybody's like YouTube videos and live streams. I'm sure it'll be coming up
Yeah, we'll post
in the
all
next
that
week or
stuff
so.
in
We'll be
each
talking
of
about
our
what we want to do.
descriptions. So
Yeah, I'll put links to all of, at least to our YouTubes or / Twitch accounts, or
Hmm.
possibly Twitters too, in the description. And this will probably be posted to YouTube and possibly other forms of social media in the future. But
Yeah,
any closing thoughts?
I think it was a good run.
that's
Yeah,
about
it
it.
for me.
It's a good first one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So if you guys did enjoy, just if you could like, comment, and subscribe, or follow
As
us on
seen
our
below
social media.
Kibby.
Yeah. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
All right, peace.